Chapter 1. Raised with Love. Taught with Fear. My name is Sophia. I am 23 years old. When I look back at my life, I see the years my parents gave me love, care, and everything I needed. I was their only daughter. They raised me with soft hands, with careful eyes, and with endless hope. They wanted me to be safe always. They wanted me to be respected always. And they wanted me to never feel pain. But with all that love came one strong rule. From the time I was 16, my parents told me the same thing again and again. Sophia, never fall in love. Never trust a boy with your heart. Love marriage destroys girls. Only arranged marriage keeps a girl safe. I still remember sitting at the dinner table when my father spoke those words for the first time. His voice was not angry. His voice was heavy with fear. He looked into my eyes and said, "A girl who chooses love ruins her life. Boys use girls and then throw them away. I cannot let that happen to you." My mother would nod and hold my hand. She said softly, "We are telling you this because we care. One day we will choose the right man for you. He will respect you. He will give you security. You will never suffer." I was only 16 then, but I could see the seriousness in their eyes. I loved my parents. I trusted them more than myself. So I promised in my heart that I would never break their words. Years passed, and the same lesson repeated. Every birthday, every small talk, every family moment, my parents reminded me love marriage is pain. "Sophia, boys lie. They only want to play. You will never be safe if you follow your heart." I wanted to tell them that I understood, but sometimes I felt heavy inside. Sometimes I thought, why do they not believe love can be real? Why do they think every boy is bad? But I never argued. I respected them too much. As I grew older, I became more beautiful. People told me that all the time. My friends would say, "Sophia, you are so kind and so pretty. Every boy looks at you." I smiled, but inside I remember my parents' warning. I told myself, no matter what people say, I will not fall into that trap. I will not break my parents' trust. Still, I was a girl with a heart. Sometimes I dreamed about a partner who would love me not for money, not for beauty, but for my soul. Then I would stop myself and whisper, "No, Sophia, stop thinking. This is dangerous. Your parents will never accept it." The truth is, my parents' words became a part of me. They shaped the way I saw the world. I saw boys in college laughing with girls. I saw relationships starting and ending. I told myself, my parents were right. These girls will cry later. Love never lasts. One evening when I was 19, my father came to my room. He sat on the edge of my bed. His voice was soft but strong. He said, "Sophia, I know the world looks different when you are young, but listen to me. I have seen pain. I have seen girls lose everything because of love. I cannot see that pain in your eyes. Promise me you will not go against us." I looked at him and said, "Papa, I will never hurt you. I will never choose a love that breaks your trust." He closed his eyes with relief. He hugged me and I felt his heart beating faster. My mother, too, never left a chance to remind me. Once she held my face in her hands and said, "My child, one wrong step can destroy your whole life. You are precious. Please never waste your heart on someone who does not value you." These words lived with me. They became like shadows around me. Even when I smiled with my friends, I remembered. Even when I heard stories of romance, I remembered. My life was filled with love for my parents, but also with their fear. When I turned 21, many relatives started asking about my marriage. My parents would smile and say, "We will choose the right time and the right boy. Sophia will never do something foolish, like a love marriage." I would sit quietly listening, knowing they were speaking with pride. But deep inside, a small voice whispered, "What if love is not foolish? What if love is the only thing that makes life true?" I never spoke that voice aloud. I buried it deep in my heart. I kept living, studying, smiling, and being the good daughter my parents wanted me to be. They had protected me for so long, and I wanted to honor that. Yet, in quiet nights, I wondered about my future. Would I really marry a stranger chosen by my family? Would I really never know what it feels like to fall in love? Would I always carry their rules without question? Sometimes I felt strong. Sometimes I felt empty. But always I carried my parents' fear as if it was my own. And I told myself, "Sophia, this is your life. This is your path. You cannot change it." But deep down, I did not know that my story was about to take a turn. I did not know that one meeting could change a promise I made to my parents. I did not know that my heart would be tested. At that time, I only knew this. I was Sophia, a daughter raised with endless love, but also raised with endless fear. Chapter 2, The Rich Boy Everyone Wanted. When I turned 23, life seemed calm on the outside. I studied, spent time with friends, and stayed close to my parents. But inside, my heart was always careful. I carried the same lesson my parents had given me since I was 16. Do not fall in love. Sophia, do not trust a boy. Those words were like a shield around me. Then one day I met someone who would test that shield. His name was Jack. It happened in a simple way. A gathering, a meeting, nothing special. But the moment Jack entered, I could see the change in people's eyes. Every girl whispered his name. Every friend of mine leaned closer and said, "That is Jack. He is rich. He is handsome. He is a dream." I looked at him once and then looked away. For me, he was just another boy. But for others, he was everything. My friends giggled and said, "Sophia, you should talk to him. Imagine if you became his girlfriend. You would live like a queen." I smiled softly and shook my head. "I am not interested. I do not want to be anyone's girlfriend." I said. One of my friends rolled her eyes and whispered, "You are too serious. Sophia, every girl wants Jack. Do you know how much money his family has? Cars, houses, luxury. You are wasting a chance." But I had no interest in his money. I remembered my parents' words, and I reminded myself, rich or poor, boys are the same. They use you, and then they leave you. Still, I could not ignore what I heard about him. Jack had a history. Everyone knew it. He was famous for being the spoiled son of wealthy parents. He had girlfriends before, 9 of them. People said he used them and left them. He broke hearts as if they were toys. When I heard this, I told myself, "Sophia, stay away. This is not for you. This is danger." And I believed it. But Jack was not blind. He noticed me, too. Maybe because I was the only girl who did not run toward him. Maybe because I did not smile extra when he looked my way. Maybe because I seemed different. A few days later, he started talking to me. At first, it was simple. "Hi, Sophia. How are you?" I answered politely and kept my distance. He tried again, asking about my studies, asking about my day. His tone was calm, not the way people described him. I wondered, why is he speaking to me like this? What does he want? But I stayed careful. I answered short and simple. Then he surprised me. One afternoon, he said, "Sophia, I know what people say about me. They say I change girlfriends like clothes. They say I am careless. Maybe they are right, but I am tired of that life. I want to be better." I looked at him and did not know what to say. Inside I thought, is this another trick, or is he really trying? So I said slowly, if you want to change, then pray to God. Ask for forgiveness. Become a good man. People will respect you for that, not for your money. He smiled at me, but not in a proud way. It was almost soft, almost thankful. He said, "No one has ever spoken to me like that. Everyone just likes me for what I have. You are different." I kept silent, but inside my heart moved a little. Not in love, not in attraction, but in curiosity. Maybe he was really tired of his past. Maybe he wanted someone to guide him. Days passed. Jack continued to speak with me. He did not cross any line. He did not flirt the way he had with other girls. He only spoke about simple things. Slowly, I felt myself relaxing. Slowly, I began to see him not as a spoiled rich boy, but as a human trying to change. My friends noticed. They said, "Sophia, Jack likes you. Why don't you give him a chance? Imagine the life you would have. You would never worry about money again." I shook my head again and told them, "I do not care about money, and I do not want to be a girlfriend. My parents would never accept it. I cannot go against them." One of them laughed. "Sophia, you are too simple. Who rejects a boy like Jack? You wear long dresses and stay quiet, and still he wants you. Don't you see how lucky you are?" Their words did not touch me. What touched me was Jack's patience. He never forced me. He never asked for anything more than my time. He simply stayed there, showing me that he wanted to be different. At night, when I was alone, I thought about him. I told myself, this is dangerous. You must stop. You cannot feel anything for him. But another voice inside whispered, what if he is serious? What if he is not like others? I fought that voice. I remembered my father's words. Boys use girls and leave them broken. I remember my mother's soft warning. One wrong step can destroy your life. Still, Jack stayed. Still, he looked at me with eyes that did not ask for fun, but asked for trust. One day, he said to me, Sophia, you think I am the same as before, but I am not. I do not want a girlfriend anymore. I do not want short games. I want respect, and I want someone who believes in me. I looked at him and my voice was low. Jack, people do not change so easily. If you are honest, then prove it with your life, not your words. He nodded slowly. I will. You will see. Sophia, I am not lying. That moment stayed with me. His words stayed with me, and for the first time in my life, my heart felt heavy with conflict, because even though I wanted to believe my parents, even though I wanted to stay safe, a small part of me wanted to believe Jack, too. I did not know what the future would bring. I only knew this. Something was beginning, and I was no longer the same Sophia who had promised herself never to listen to her heart. Chapter 3, A Bond One Never Expected. Jack kept talking to me little by little. At first, I thought it was only a phase. I thought he would get tired and move on to some other girl, like he always did. But days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. He was still there, still trying, still showing me that he wanted to change. I was not used to this kind of attention. I was always the girl who stayed quiet, the girl who believed her parents, the girl who never looked at boys the wrong way. And yet, Here was Jack trying to make me see that he was different. I told myself not to believe him. I told myself it was dangerous. But slowly a bond was forming between us. A bond one never expected. It started with small talks. He would ask me how my day was. He would ask me about my dreams. He would even ask me what made me happy. He was not like my friends who only asked about clothes or movies or fun. He asked about my heart, and for the first time I felt someone was listening to me. One evening he said, "Sophia, I do not want to play with you. I do not want to use you. I want to understand you." His words made me silent. No boy had ever spoken like that to me before. I looked at him and said softly, "Jack, people change their words easily. Prove it with your actions." He nodded and replied, "I will prove it every day. I want you to see me not as the spoiled boy I was, but as the man I can become." Those words touched me, though I did not admit it. Inside my heart, I felt something move. A small door opened. A door I thought I had locked forever because of my parents' warnings. At night, when I lay in bed, I thought about him. I remembered his eyes when he spoke, his tone when he promised, his patience when I stayed silent. I told myself, "No, Sophia, this is wrong. Do not feel this way. Your parents will never agree. They warned you all your life." But then another voice inside whispered, "What if he is the one who proves them wrong? What if not every boy is bad?" The fight between my heart and my mind became stronger each day. My friends noticed that I had changed. One of them asked, "Sophia, why do you talk to Jack so much? Don't tell me you like him." I looked at her and said, "I do not know what I feel, but I know he is trying, and that means something." She laughed and said, "Sophia, you are too innocent. Do you really think a rich boy like Jack can change? Do you really think he wants only you?" I stayed quiet, but inside I thought maybe he can. Maybe he is already changing. Jack never forced me. That was what surprised me the most. Other boys would push, would beg, would try to touch, would try to prove something. Jack never did. He kept his distance. He respected my boundaries, and that respect became the strongest bond between us. One day I asked him directly, "Jack, why me? You had so many girls before. Why are you wasting time on me?" He looked into my eyes and said, "Because you are the only one who does not care about my money. You are the only one who wants me to be a better man. No one else has ever asked me to change. They only wanted what I already had. But you wanted me to grow." His words brought tears to my eyes. I turned my face away so he would not see. But in my heart, I knew that I had already started caring. Sometimes I prayed at night and asked God, "Am I making a mistake? Am I going against my parents' wishes? Or are you showing me a man who is ready to change for real love?" The next day, Jack told me something that shocked me even more. He said, "Sophia, I want to stop being known as a boy with girlfriends. I want people to see me as a man who can love only one woman. And that woman is you." I could not believe it. I whispered, "Jack, you don't even know me fully." He smiled softly and replied, "I know enough. I know that you are kind. I know that you are pure. I know that you are the only one who can see me as something more than money. That is all I need to know." His words played in my mind again and again. I wanted to stop thinking about him, but I could not. I wanted to stay strong for my parents, but I was getting weak. I wanted to stay the Sophia who never looked at love, but I was becoming someone new. I began to notice the little things. How he listened carefully when I spoke. How he never interrupted. How he always remembered the small details of my life. He cared not in a loud way, but in a quiet and steady way. And that quiet care made me feel safe. I remember one moment very clearly. I told him, "Jack, I am afraid. I am afraid of breaking my parents' trust." He answered, "Sophia, I would never ask you to break their trust. I only ask you to see me for who I am now, not for who I was. That night, I cried silently because for the first time, I realized my heart had begun to choose. My heart was no longer fully under my parents' control. The bond between us grew, not with big gestures, not with gifts, not with money. It grew with respect, with patience, and with the simple way he showed me that he cared. I had never expected this. I had never wanted this. But it was happening. And deep inside, I knew my life was no longer the same. This was the beginning of a love I had promised myself never to have. And yet, it felt like the most honest bond one had ever known. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel. English Through Story. Chapter 4. When he spoke the words of love. The bond between me and Jack was becoming stronger each day. I never wanted it, but it was happening on its own. I tried to stay away, but something always pulled me back. He was patient. He was calm. He was steady. I started to believe that maybe he was not like before. Maybe he was really trying to change. One afternoon, he invited me on a small trip. Just 3 days, he said softly. Sophia, it will be good for you. You study too much. You never take a break. Come with me just as friends. Nothing more. At first, I said no. I shook my head and told him, Jack, this is not possible. My parents will never allow it, and I do not want to give them a reason to doubt me. He looked at me with quiet eyes and said, I promise you, Sophia, nothing wrong will happen. I will respect you. I only want you to relax. Trust me this once. I thought about it for many nights. I remembered my father's warnings. I remembered my mother's fears. But I also remembered Jack's words. His voice stayed in my mind. In the end, I said yes. I don't know why. Maybe my heart wanted to test if he was true. When we left for the trip, I was nervous. I kept telling myself, Sophia, do not trust him too much. Be careful. But Jack never crossed a line. He spoke kindly, treated me with respect, and never made me feel unsafe. Then came the moment that changed everything. On the second day, when we were walking together, he stopped and looked at me. His face was serious. His voice was soft but strong. He said, Sophia, I cannot keep this inside anymore. I love you. My heart froze. For a second, I could not breathe. The words hit me like a storm. I had never heard them before, not from anyone. I stood there in shock. I whispered, Jack, what did you say? He repeated slower this time. I love you, Sophia. Not for fun, not for a game. I love you for real. I want you to be in my life, not as a girlfriend, but as the woman I will marry one day. Tears filled my eyes. I did not expect this. My voice shook as I said, No, Jack, this cannot happen. I have never had a boyfriend. I do not want one now. I only want marriage one day, but not like this. My parents will never agree. Please do not make me weak. He looked at me with steady eyes and said, I am not asking you to be my girlfriend. I am asking you to think about me as your future husband. I do not want to play with you. I want to build a life with you. I held my face in my hands and whispered, Why me? You could have anyone? Why choose me? He answered, Because you are the only one who does not care about my money. You are the only one who cares about my soul. You want me to be a better man. You do not want my luxury. You want my change. That is real love. My heart broke in two directions. One side told me to run, to stay loyal to my parents' words. The other side told me to stay, to believe in this love that was pure and deep. I wiped my tears and told him softly, Jack, thank you for your feelings, but I cannot say yes. I cannot betray my parents. I am a good daughter. I cannot break their trust. He nodded and said calmly, I understand. I will give you time. Think about me. Think about us. I will wait for your answer, even if it takes months. That patience touched me more than anything else. He did not argue. He did not beg. He only respected my choice. That respect was like a gift. When I returned home, my heart was heavy. I could not sleep. I kept hearing his voice saying, I love you, Sophia. I told myself, forget it. Forget him. But his words lived inside me. The next day, my friends noticed my silence. They asked me, Sophia, what happened? You look lost. I told them everything. Their eyes widened. One of them laughed and said, So Jack finally fell for you. Sophia, you must say yes. He is rich, handsome, and now he wants only you. What more do you need? I shook my head. I do not care about his money. I only care about my parents. They will never accept a love marriage. They will see it as shame. Another friend leaned closer and said, But Sophia, he respects you. He could choose any girl. But he chose you. Don't you see? That means something. Their words made me even more confused. I wanted to stay strong, but I could not stop thinking about Jack. At night, when I closed my eyes, I saw his face. I remembered his promise. I felt his respect. 6 days passed like that. 6 long nights of questions, tears, and silence. I told myself again and again, do not fall. Stay strong. But every time my heart whispered back, he might be the one. He might be true. On the 7th day, Jack called me. His voice was calm, but full of emotion. He said, Sophia, I know my past is dark. I know people hate me for it. But I want you to know I want only you. I want to marry you. I will wait until I have my own business. I do not want to use my father's money. I want to earn my life and then marry you. Tears rolled down my face as I held the phone. I whispered, Jack, do you really mean marriage? Do you really mean forever? He answered, Yes, Sophia. I am not here for fun. I am here for life. You are the one I prayed for. My heart broke again, this time with hope. For the first time, I thought, maybe my parents can accept him. Maybe love is not always a mistake. That night, I closed my eyes and prayed. God, guide me. Show me if this is true. Do not let me make the wrong choice. I did not know what the future would bring. But one thing was clear. I could not ignore his words anymore. They were not just words. They were a promise, and they had already changed me. Chapter 5, the yes that changed my life. After that call from Jack, my heart was restless. I could not think of anything else. His voice, his promise, his patience, everything stayed with me. For the first time in my life, I felt torn between what my parents wanted and what my heart was whispering. 6 days had already passed with confusion. Every night, I lay awake and asked myself, should I trust him? Should I give him a chance? Or should I stay the good daughter, who never breaks her parents' trust? I cried silently because there was no easy answer. On the 7th day, Jack called me again. His voice was calm, but I could feel the emotion behind it. He said, "Sophia, I will not force you. I will wait for you until the end. But I want you to know one thing. When I look at you, I see my future. I do not want anyone else. I want only you." Those words broke me. I pressed the phone close to my ear and whispered, "Jack, I am scared. My parents will never accept a love marriage. They told me all my life that boys cannot be trusted." He answered softly, "Then let me be the one who proves them wrong. Let me be the one who shows them that real love is respect, not use." I could not reply. My throat was heavy with tears. After the call ended, I sat alone and thought about everything. I remembered my father's voice. "Love, marriage destroys a girl's life." I remembered my mother's eyes full of fear. But I also remembered Jack's patience, his respect, and his promise of marriage. That night, I prayed again. "God, please guide me. If Jack is true, give me courage. If he is wrong, take him away from my heart." The next day, I asked Jack to meet me. We decided to meet in the park. My heart was beating fast when I saw him. He looked at me with quiet hope. He did not speak first. He waited. I took a deep breath and said, "Jack, I have thought about everything. I have fought with my own heart, but today I want to give you an answer." He looked into my eyes and whispered, "Sophia, whatever you say, I will accept." Tears filled my eyes as I said, "Yes, Jack, I accept your love. I accept you not as a boyfriend, but as the man I want to marry one day." He closed his eyes and I saw a tear roll down his cheek. He held my hands gently and said, "Thank you, Sophia. You have given me the biggest gift of my life. I promise you I will protect you, respect you, and work hard to give you the life you deserve." At that moment, I felt something inside me break free. It was like years of fear and warnings were still there, but my heart had found its own voice. For the first time, I chose love. But even in that happiness, fear lived inside me. I knew my parents would never accept this easily. They had warned me for years. I thought if they find out everything will change, but maybe they will see Jack differently. Maybe they will see his honesty. Jack looked at me and said, "Sophia, I will not marry you today. I will not marry you until I build my own business. I do not want to marry you on my father's money. I want to stand on my own feet. Only then will I come to your family and ask for your hand." His words touched me deeply. I whispered, "Jack, you do not need to prove yourself with money. You have already proven your heart." He shook his head and said, "No, Sophia, I need to prove to myself, too. I want to be the man who can give you respect, not only with words, but with life." Hearing that, I felt proud. Proud that I had chosen him. Proud that he wanted to be better for me. But in my heart, I still heard my father's warnings. I could almost hear his voice saying, "Sophia, boys promise everything before marriage. After that, they change." I held Jack's hand tightly and said, "Jack, my parents will be the biggest challenge, but if you are ready to face them with respect, then I will stand by you." He looked at me with steady eyes and replied, "Sophia, I will speak to your father myself. I will show him that my love is not a game. I will prove that I respect you more than anything." I cannot hold back my tears. For the first time in my life, I felt that love was not weakness. Love was strength. And that strength was standing in front of me in the form of Jack. That day in the park, my life changed. One small word, yes, turned me from the obedient daughter who always stayed silent into a woman who had found her own heart. I did not know what storms were waiting ahead, but in that moment, I was sure of one thing. I had chosen love. I had chosen Jack. And I was ready to face whatever came next. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel. English Through Story. Chapter 6. Fathers Against U.S. After I said yes to Jack, happiness came into my heart, but fear came with it. I knew my parents would never accept. Their warnings about love were too strong. It did not take long for my father to know. He saw me speaking with Jack and called me that night. His voice was sharp. He said, "Sophia, I told you all your life never to fall in love, and now you stand here with Jack. Is this true?" I could not hide. I whispered, "Yes, Papa, I like him. He wants to marry me." His face grew hard. "Marry you? He is the son of a man who made money through wrong ways. Do you want to live in that house? You are destroying your life." I cried and begged. "Papa, he is not like his father. He wants to change. He respects me. He is not here to play." But my father shook his head. "You are blind, Sophia. Boys promise everything before marriage. After that they break you. You will regret this." I fell at his feet. "Papa, please trust me just once. He wants me as his wife, not as his girlfriend." But his heart was closed. He said, "If you choose him, you will lose us." I ran to my room and cried until my chest hurt. My mother held me and said softly, "Listen to your father, Sophia. Love looks sweet now, but later it burns. Please, child, do not break us." While I was fighting at home, Jack was fighting in his own house. His father told him, "If you marry a middle-class girl, you are no longer my son. Leave my house. Leave my money." Jack told me, "Sophia, I have chosen you. I will leave everything for you." I cried and asked, "Why would you throw away your life for me?" He whispered, "Because money never gave me peace, but your love gave me meaning. I cannot lose you." I hugged him and said, "Jack, my father is still not ready. He thinks you will hurt me." Jack looked at me with steady eyes. "Then I will speak to him myself. I will show him that I am serious." A few days later, Jack came to my house. My father's anger was heavy. He said, "You will never have my trust. Your father's name is dirty, and my daughter will not suffer in that family." Jack's eyes filled with tears, but he spoke firmly. "Then I will not take her there. I will build my own life with her. I respect her more than anything. Please believe me." But my father turned away. "You can say anything, but you will never have my blessing." That night, my heart broke. I whispered to myself, "Why is love so hard? Why can't fathers see truth when it stands in front of them?" But one thing I knew, Jack was not leaving me. He was ready to sacrifice all, and I was ready to stand by him. Like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 7. Love Stronger Than Luxury. When my father refused to bless us, my heart broke, but Jack's strength kept me standing. He looked at me with calm eyes and said, "Sophia, do not lose hope. We do not need anyone's money or support to prove our love. I will show the world that I can give you a life with dignity, not with wealth." His father had told him clearly, "If you marry Sophia, you are no longer my son. Leave my house, leave my money, and leave my name." Those words would have crushed most people, but Jack accepted them with silence. He looked at me and whispered, "I choose you over everything." I cried when I heard that. "Jack, I don't want you to suffer for me. You had a life of comfort. Why should you throw it away just because of me?" He smiled softly. "Sophia, comfort without love is empty. I had money, cars, and friends, but they were all shallow. I was surrounded by noise, but my heart was lonely. When I met you, I finally understood what peace felt like. I cannot go back to that empty life. From that day, he began working with his own hands. He refused to take anything from his father. He chose small jobs, jobs no rich man's son would ever think of doing, but he did them with pride. I still remember the first time I saw him after work. His shirt was simple. His hands looked tired, but his eyes had strength I had never seen before. He told me quietly, "Sophia, today a man shouted at me. He treated me like nothing." I bent my head and said, "Sorry, sir." Do you know why? Because I wanted to learn humility. I wanted to feel what life really means. I wiped my tears and whispered, "Jack, you are not the same boy I first met. You are becoming a man with respect." He held my hand and said, "I am only becoming this man because of you. Your love gave me reason. Your words gave me direction. Without you, I would have wasted my life." Every day he struggled. Some days he worked in a store. Other days he cleaned tables. People insulted him, but he never complained. Instead, he said, "Sophia, these insults are my teachers. They remind me of the value of respect. They remind me why I am working for us." Each sacrifice tied me closer to him. Each insult he swallowed made me proud. I knew then that our love was stronger than his family's wealth, stronger than the luxury he had left behind. One evening as we sat together, I told him softly, "Jack, my father still does not trust you. He thinks you will fail me." Jack looked straight at me and answered, "Then I will keep proving myself again and again until no one can doubt me." I cannot control his heart, but I can control my actions. And my actions will show him that my love is not weak. It is stronger than money, stronger than pride, stronger than anything. His words stayed with me. That night as I prayed, I realized something. My parents raised me with fear of love. They believed boys only use and destroy. But here was a boy who gave up everything for me. Here was a man who chose love over luxury, respect over pride. I whispered in my heart, "God, if this is not true love, then what is?" Subscribe and share. Chapter 8. The Day Our Families Found Peace. Years passed and Jack kept his promise. He worked with his own hands, built his own life, and never once asked his father for money. I saw him struggle. I saw him bend under insults, and I saw him rise again with strength. My love for him grew with every step. One day, everything changed. Jack's father walked into a restaurant where Jack was working. He saw his son cleaning tables while a rude customer shouted at him. Jack bowed his head and said softly, "Sorry for the delay." "Sir." That sight broke his father. Tears filled his eyes. For the first time, he understood the pain of his son. He said to Jack, "I thought money was everything. I thought I was giving you life by giving you wealth. But today I see I gave you nothing. You have found respect through your struggle, something I never gave you. From this day, I will leave every wrong business. I will live clean. I want to deserve you." Jack stood still, shocked. Then he hugged his father tightly. "Father, I never wanted your money. I only wanted your respect. And I wanted you to accept Sophia." His father wiped his tears and said, "Bring her home. She is not just your wife. She is my daughter. I will honor her with my heart." When Jack told me this, I cried harder than ever before. I whispered, God finally heard us. After years of pain, peace has come. Soon, my parents also softened. They saw Jack's father change, and they saw Jack's sacrifice. My father said quietly, "Sophia, maybe I was wrong. Maybe love can be real when it is built on respect. If Jack can fight the world for you, then I cannot fight you both anymore. Live your life in peace." That was the moment I had waited for, the moment when both families finally opened their hearts. Jack and I were married with blessings from both sides. Now, when I look back, I see one truth shining above everything. Real love is not about wealth. It is about sacrifice. Real love is not about easy comfort. It is about standing together in storms. Jack proved that even the worst boy can become the best man when his heart is true. And together we prove that love, when it is pure, can change families, can change lives, and can even heal the past. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel English for a Day.